Carney announces long-awaited automatic tax filing, makes school food program permanent. Hey, Canada Bulletin fam. Asterisk pop quiz. What takes longer? Implementing a Liberal campaign promise or waiting for your tax refund to hit your account? Trick question. They're basically the same thing at this point. Mark Carney just dropped some big announcements about automatic tax filing and school lunches. And folks, we need to talk about the 4-year timeline attached to this thing. Buckle up, because this one's got more layers than a Tim Hortons breakfast sandwich. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Canada Bulletin, where we break down the news that affects your wallet, your kids, and your sanity in this wild country we call home. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because Canadian politics moves fast. Well, except when it comes to implementing policies, apparently. Today, we're diving into Prime Minister Mark Carney's Friday announcement that's got people talking: automatic tax filing for low-income Canadians, a permanent national school food program, and a return of everyone's favorite summer discount, the Canada Strong Pass. Sounds great, right? But as always with Canadian politics, the devil's in the details and the timelines. Let's get into it. The promise that's been 5 years in the making. All right, let's start with a headline that's making low-income Canadians simultaneously hopeful and frustrated. Automatic tax filing is finally coming. Insert confetti that falls in slow motion over 4 years. Here's the deal. Starting in 2027, yes, you heard that right, 2027, the government will begin enrolling about 1 million Canadians with simple tax situations into this automatic system. By 2028, that number jumps to 2.5 million, and by 2029, we're looking at 5.5 million low-income Canadians getting their taxes filed automatically. Now, before you think I'm being too cynical, let me explain why this actually matters. Right now, millions of low-income Canadians don't file tax returns because they don't know anything, right? Makes sense. But here's the kicker. By not filing, they're missing out on thousands of dollars in benefits they're entitled to. We're talking about the Gulf Standard Time/Hawaii Standard Time Credit, the Canada Child Benefit, the Canada Workers Benefit, the Canadian Disability Benefit. Basically, free money that's just sitting there waiting to be claimed. Carney gave a perfect example. A single parent with 2 kids earning just $15,000 from a part-time job could be eligible for up to $25,000 in federal and provincial benefits. $25,000. That's literally life-changing money that people are missing out on because they don't file their taxes. The criticism, unimaginable speed, meets reality. But here's where things get spicy. Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer came out swinging, pointing out that Carney promised to move at unimaginable speeds. And Scheer's response? Chef's kiss. He said, another 4 years to implement a 5-year-old Liberal policy doesn't look all that fast to me. And honestly, he's got a point. This automatic tax filing system was first announced in the 2020 throne speech. That's 5 years ago. Then it was formally committed to in the 2023 budget. And now we're told it won't be fully rolled out until 2029. That's 9 years from announcement to full implementation. Look, I get it. Government moves slowly. Building new systems takes time. But when you're talking about vulnerable Canadians who need these benefits now, not in 2029, the frustration is real and totally justified. Okay, deep breath. Let's move from taxes that take forever to a program that's actually becoming permanent. And honestly, this one's pretty heartwarming. We're talking about feeding kids. People, let's dig in. Pun absolutely intended. Because no kid should learn on an empty stomach. Here's something we can all agree on, regardless of political stripes. Kids should not be going to school hungry. Period. End of story. And that's exactly what the National School Food Program is addressing. Back in spring 2024, the Liberal government announced $1 billion over 5 years to fund this program, with a goal of feeding 400,000 more children a year. And guess what? They actually hit that target. The program is currently feeding 400,000 kids annually, saving parents with 2 children about $800 a year. Now, Carney just announced that this program is going permanent. Starting in 2029 to 30, there's that year again. The program will receive permanent annual funding of $216.6 million. That's locked in, guaranteed, no matter who's running the country. Why this actually matters. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine being a kid sitting in math class, stomach growling, thinking about where your next meal is coming from instead of focusing on algebra. That's a reality for too many Canadian children, and it's absolutely unacceptable in a country as wealthy as ours. Carney nailed it when he said, "This is Canada. No child should go to school hungry or sit in a classroom all day wondering where their next meal will come from." When kids are fed, they learn better, they behave better, and they have a better shot at breaking cycles of poverty. And here's the thing about school food programs. They're not just about nutrition. They're about dignity. They're about making sure every kid has the same opportunity to succeed, regardless of what their home situation looks like. That $800 savings per family might not sound like much to some people, but for low-income families, that's groceries for a month. That's winter coats. That's breathing room in a budget that has zero room to breathe. Now, the federal government is working with provinces, territories, and indigenous partners to expand these programs. And that's crucial because, surprise, surprise, education is provincial jurisdiction. So while the feds can provide funding, the actual implementation happens at the provincial level. Some provinces, like Ontario, have already struck deals. Others? We'll see how it plays out. All right, we've covered taxes that take forever and feeding kids. Now, let's talk about something fun. Remember that Canada's Strong Pass from last summer? Well, it's back, baby. And if you like museums, camping, or trains, you're going to want to hear this. Your ticket to affordable Canadian adventures. Here's some genuinely good news with NO Catch and NO Weird Timeline. The Canada Strong Pass is being extended. If you missed it last summer, this pass was basically the government saying, hey, let's make it easier and cheaper for Canadians to explore their own country. The pass will be available from December 12th to January 15th to cover the holiday season, and then again for summer 2026. And what does it get you? Oh, buckle up. For everyone. Free admission to national historic sites, national parks, and national marine conservation areas. 25% discount on camping fees at Parks Canada sites. For kids 17 and under. Free admission to national museums and select provincial/territorial museums. Free VIA rail travel when accompanied by an adult. For young adults 18 to 24.